You are listening to the PraiseWorks Health and Wellness Network. Our broadcast host will take you on a journey of total wellness for your mind, body, and spirit. All the content aired on this network have been copywritten and are protected by federal copyright laws. All duplications and or rebroadcasts of any show on this network must have the expressed written permission of the network owners. The claims and views presented on this network are not necessarily the view and opinions of the network owners. Take a moment every day to look in the mirror and smile. For do you not know that your body houses the Holy Spirit who is in you, a gift from God? You are not your own and have been purchased by God. So honor him with your body as you take a journey of total wellness for your mind, body, and spirit.
Welcome to the Wellness Journey with Linus of PraiseWorks. Our program will show you the fun and simplicity of wellness. You can achieve total wellness through holistic practices and fitness. Join us now as we talk to the experts in the field of total wellness for your mind, body, and spirit. Here's Linus.
Hi, this is Linus, and welcome to the Wellness Journey. I am so glad that you have decided to join us. As usual, I am excited about the show that we have planned for you today. A little bit different for us because we're going to kind of take a look at the other side of philosophy of what it means to be fit. And, you know, here on the Wellness Journey, I like to have people on that have a particular expertise that maybe you may not find normally unless you kind of already knew about it, unless you were referred to it. Maybe it's something that will resonate with you. And I'm really excited about this guest because it resonated with me because it was something different, something I hadn't thought about before. And when we get back from the break, we'll get a chance to talk with Jeanette and a little bit about her company and what it is that she does. But before we go to the break, I just wanted to share a few things about what's going on with PraiseWorks. PraiseWorks Health and Wellness is growing, as you know, and I first want to invite you to go to our fan page on Facebook. We are 2,000 plus strong, and I am so excited about the growth and hearing from all of you and the things that we're posting. You know, every month we have a fitness challenge, and we've done things with our abs and with our arms and walking and our lower body and legs and all that kind of stuff. So come on over to the fan page and like us and participate in some of those challenges, and also get all kinds of great tips and information and support as you get fit and get your body to where you want it to be. The URL for this Facebook page is, of course, www.facebook.com/PraiseWorksHealthWellness. That's PraiseWorks Health Wellness. Come on over and take a look at what we've got. Also, don't forget to go to our fan page, our website. We have a lot of things going on. You may have heard that we are planning a cruise. PraiseWorks Journey to Wellness. It's an Alaskan cruise. We leave October 2013. And the broadcast that we're doing right now is in August. I don't know when you will hear this particular broadcast, but rest assured that we will be doing annual PraiseWorks cruises. So go to our website to find out where the next cruise is, but the one we have planned right now currently at this particular time is the one going to Alaska, 7 days and 6 nights. Fantastic cruise, and we're also going to have some wonderful guest speakers to talk to you about health and wellness and staying spiritually motivated and grounded and all kinds of good things designed to help you along your journey to total wellness for your mind, body, and spirit. And speaking of getting away and staying fit, we will be having PraiseWorks retreats, which will be going on at least 3 or 4 times a year. So go to our website and take a look at the PraiseWorks retreats. The URL for our website is www.praiseworks.biz. That's www.praiseworks.biz. One more thing I wanted to remind you of. Of course, you're listening to our broadcast, The Wellness Journey. But also don't forget to go to The Wellness Journey Live. We're on live every Tuesday at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time and 4 p.m. East Coast time, and that's at the Women for Women Network. That's W4W.com. And there we'll have our live guests, and you'll get a chance to call in and ask questions and find out even more about our guests and find out more about topics that you are interested in. So that's what's going on in the world of PraiseWorks. We're so excited about your support. If you have any questions, things you'd like to share with us, things you'd like to hear on the program, please email me at thewellnessjourney@yahoo.com. That's thewellnessjourney@yahoo.com. I'll be looking forward to hearing your comments and just hearing what you have to share. You're important to us. You're the only reason why we're here. So we want to make sure that we're bringing you programs that you are interested in and programs that give you information to help you approach total wellness for your mind, body, and spirit. And when we get back, we'll be talking with Jeanette, and she'll be sharing her philosophy about total wellness. This is Linus of PraiseWorks, and we'll be back in just a moment. Are you suffering from neck and back pain, joint pain, complications from PMS, stomach problems and headaches? Do you feel tense and stressed? Forever Green Essential Oils is the answer for you. Essential oils are sourced from herbs, spices, seeds, flowers, and plants. Essential oils have proven their medicinal and healing qualities for hundreds of years. In the Bible, essential oils are referenced many times and were used for healing purposes. Forever Green Essential Oils produces one of the most pristine, organic, and therapeutic oils in the world. There are an array of oils that will address many of the health problems that you might currently be taking pharmaceuticals for. To find out more about these wonderful essential oils and how they can help you, contact us for more information at oilsessential@ymail.com. That's oilsessential@ymail.com. Or give us a call at 916-706-7565, and we will be glad to give you a free assessment on how Forever Green Essential Oils can aid you along your journey to total wellness for your mind, body, and spirit. Forever Green Essential Oils, one of the best organic and therapeutic grade oils in the world. Hi, this is Linus of Phraseworks, and thanks so much for joining us on the wellness journey. And I am very excited to be sharing with you someone that I haven't met personally, but I feel like I know her because I had a chance to talk with her briefly not too long ago, and then I've gone all up and down her website, and I tell you, she is just an amazing person. Her name is Jeanette DePatie, and she has a fantastic website called Fat Chick. And Jeanette has a wonderful philosophy that I want to share with all of you in terms of how she defines success and how you define success and how she defines fit and how you might define fit. But the one thing that we all have in common, and the reason why we listen to the Wellness Journey, is to find out about new ways and ideas that we can care for our temple. And I think Jeanette has a fabulous philosophy. And Jeanette, I'm so glad to have you here on the Wellness Journey. Are you there?
I'm here. Thanks so much.
You're welcome. Well, Jeanette, I think your story is fascinating, but why don't you share it with us, as is the tradition on the Wellness Journey. I always have the guests do all the work and introduce themselves and kind of tell us how you came to the whole idea of putting together Fat Chick.
Well, the idea behind the Fat Chick and the fatchick.com, it was really born. One day I went to the library and I was looking for another diet book. You know, the one that's this is the one that's going to work, right? The one that's going to get you to that magical super weight. We all have this number in our head, right?
Right.
Once we reach this number, whether it's a pant size or a number on the scale, our lives will be perfect, and men will swoop by on yachts and pick us up, right, if we have this magic number. So I was at the library looking for a diet book, and I came across a book that talked about the diet industry and talked about the diet business. And what I started reading in that book is that a lot of the promises that are made by the diet industry really are not borne out by evidence, and that really the number of people who get to that magic number and stay that magic number for 3, 4, 5 or more years is somewhere in the neighborhood of 5 to 10%. And I started thinking about it. You know, I thought, my goodness, I've put my whole life on hold waiting to reach this magic number, and I might never reach this magic number. And that means I might never start my life. I'm giving myself like a 5 to 10% chance at starting my life. And I just had this aha moment where I said, you know what? I can't wait around anymore. I'm going to just start doing all the things that I was going to do when I was thin and perfect and everything was wonderful, and I was just going to do them. I wasn't going to wait anymore. And so at that point, I always wanted to teach a fitness class, so I got certified as a fitness teacher, and I did a triathlon, and I did a marathon, and I wrote my fitness book, The Fat Chick Works Out, and I have been working in that arena ever since, and I have been living my life full out 100% ever since. So that was a very
I think that's a fabulous story. Now, I have to ask you, because I'm sure you've been asked this before, how are you addressing the critics that say that you're telling people not to lose weight and that they can still be fit even if they are overweight? How do you address those critics?
You know, what I tell people is I'm not saying don't lose weight. I am saying that it's important to focus on behavior, healthy behaviors. It's important to exercise, and it's important to eat well. It's important to manage stress and get good sleep. And then I think where your body ends up is where your body ends up. I'm saying that an obsession with reaching a certain body size is misplaced. It's really not putting the emphasis on the right thing. There's a lot of research that shows that people who have healthy behaviors live longer, healthier, better lives than people who do not have healthy behaviors, regardless of body size. So a fat person with healthy behaviors statistically lives longer and better than a thin person who does not have healthy behaviors. So that's where I think the emphasis should be placed.
And I agree. You know, a lot of times it's all about your body image and how you feel about yourself. Right now, in this moment in time, right now, that's what you have to address. And what resonates with me in your philosophy is that you're dealing with where a person is right now and not thinking the idea, well, before I get fit, I have to lose weight. What you're saying is that you can still be working on losing the weight, but you can still be fit in the same time.
Right. And, I mean, I honestly don't work at losing weight anymore. I work at healthy behavior because I think that I've reached a weight that's comfortable for my body. This is where my body has stabilized. And, there's a lot of people who have said, well, if you exercise more, when I was training for the marathon, I was typically putting in 35 to 45 miles per week of training, and I didn't lose a single pound. I mean, my body really wanted to be this weight, and, that's another thing that I really think about is I went 26.2 miles, right, which is a pretty good thing to be able to do that.
Longer than where I've gone, that's for sure.
But if
that's a long way.
Right. But if my goal had been weight loss, then I would have gone 26.2 miles in one day without keeling over, and I would have felt like a failure. And that's a sad thing. I really think that's a sad thing. So
when you went to 20, I'm sorry, go ahead. I was going to ask you a question, but go ahead.
I felt great. I mean, I really felt like I had accomplished something, and that was important to me in my life.
And you had accomplished something, and that's what I was going to ask you. I mean, 26 miles, that's an accomplishment. Whether you lost a pound or not isn't really the point. It is the fact that you took out the time to train and to get fit, and you set a goal, and you accomplished it. And there's a lot of feel-good there. Do you feel like sometimes, and I feel like this sometimes, that we kind of have a tendency to focus on the wrong thing, that we are so busy talking about what we're not doing, that we don't take time to be mindful in the moment and celebrate those successes that we have accomplished. We're always thinking about the next success, the next, that saying about you're only as successful as your last success. And I don't believe that. I think that if you've been a success at one thing, you celebrate that and you revel in that moment. You keep that close to you because that helps you propel you to your next success instead of thinking, okay, I did that, now I got to do something else because that wasn't good enough. Tell me a little bit about some of the people that have gone through your program. I'm looking at some of these success stories on your website, and it's really awesome.
Yeah, I've really been very blessed to have met some amazing people and watched really exciting transformations happen in their lives. I mean, there was one particular person who was in one of my earlier classes when I was teaching in St. Louis, and when he came to me, he really had trouble walking from the car to the class. That was really a struggle for him. And I think a lot of teachers would have just thrown up their hands and said, I can't help this person, but I was very excited that he came. And so I said, okay, that's fine. Your walk from your car to the class, that's your workout for today. That's what we're doing for today. And we started there, and we just very, very, very slowly and gradually added a little more exercise. And within about 18 months, he was working out 3 hours per week, every single week. So that's, that's an amazing transformation from the standpoint of fitness. But the more exciting transformation was the freedom that allowed him to have in his life to take his nieces and nephews to Disneyland and to take his wife out dancing again and to really enjoy things in his life that he didn't think he was going to have access to. And, during this process, this person really didn't lose a lot of weight, but the physical transformation allowed him to have an entirely different life. And so I'm very excited about what happened to him.
Well, taking a look at that testimony alone is amazing. But a lot of people, because I'm a health and wellness coach, and I focus on a lot of different aspects of health and wellness, mostly the spiritual part in terms of getting down to the bottom of why maybe you're not feeling like you should be feeling from a emotional and spiritual standpoint. But a lot of people are afraid to even move forward in trying to move to getting fit. They're afraid of perhaps not meeting their goals, or they're afraid of looking silly, or they're afraid of not being able to do it. How do you help people conquer their fear when it comes to something like this?
I think it's really a challenge, and it's a challenge that I face in my own life with my own things that I'm going after, whether it's writing a book or starting a new class or starting my streaming class, for example. There's always fear. And so I have a lot of empathy for folks that are in that place. For people of size in our society, there's also, a lot of reason to be fearful because our society as a whole is not kind to people who do not meet a certain physical ideal. So one of the things that I do is I help people cope with the negative feedback that they sometimes receive out in the world. And I try to create for them at least one safe place where they can come and they can exercise without judgment or without anger or fear. But another thing that I help people do, I think the really distressing thing about the fear that we feel is so often that fear manifests as anger and unkindness towards other people. When we're not achieving what we want in our lives, when we're not really going out there and going for it, and we see somebody who is, sometimes it makes us jealous, and sometimes it makes us cruel. And I think by learning to accept ourselves and learning to really reach for the things that we want, it allows us to be kinder and more encouraging to other people and help them do the same thing. That's something that I really strongly feel.
You know what, and I think you're right. A lot of times things that are really bugging us present themselves in terms of anger and meanness and unkindness. And deep down inside, it's really issues that we have with ourselves, that we're not feeling good about ourselves. And rather than take a look at that, we kind of look outside of ourselves. And you know about that old adage about pointing fingers, right? I mean, you're pointing one finger at someone else, but there's four more people pointing back at you. It comes right back to, okay, not so much how do you feel about them, how do you feel about you? Where are you at right now? What's going on with you that you feel the need to make someone else feel bad about where they're at or what they're not doing or whatever? Now, I noticed something on your website that was great. It looks like you were on the Dr. Drew show. Wow. Yeah, that's fantastic.
It was.
That is great.
It was a great experience.
What was the topic on that when you were on there?
Well, the topic was called, Is It Okay to Be Fat? And I was talking about being fit and fat. And, I think that show, they had a guest on there who I think embodies some of the things that I'm talking about in that she was not really able to engage in dialogue. She was really only able to spew anger and meanness. And, it's hard in that situation to hold it together and to, you have to really pray. You have to pray for strength, so that you can, you really aim to behave with grace. And, I mean, sometimes you really don't want so much to behave with grace. Really, you want to start stomping around, right, and shaking your fists and yelling, "Lady, are you kidding?" But, it doesn't really help most of the time. So I just, in a situation like that, I always think, well, there are some people that are going to agree with this person, and that's their right. But there may be one or two people out there who are just waiting to start their life, that are just on hold because they just believe that they have to look a certain way and their body has to be a certain size before they can achieve what they want in their lives. And if I can help that person get there a month sooner, a week sooner, a day sooner, it's worth it for me to go out there and be the target, just to at least present that idea to them that they can just go for it.
Right. Well, I think you provide a very much needed and valuable service, because the reality is that not everybody in society was meant to be a size 2. I mean, that's just the reality. Not everybody's supposed to be that way. We are all different, and we're all built differently. And I think that people who are of larger size need to feel comfortable with that if that is the way that God has created them and that is where they feel most comfortable. So when it comes to especially you have someone that is of larger size that hasn't been involved in an exercise program in years, what kinds of things can they do to begin to move more and to still feel comfortable and not hurt themselves and to feel good about themselves while they're doing it?
Well, I'd like to start by saying that when a person hasn't exercised in a long time, they're considered what we call a deconditioned adult. And for a deconditioned adult, it doesn't matter if you're a big one or a small one. They all need to start the same way. And the way that you start is very, very small. You start with a level of activity that you're doing now, and you bump it up just a little bit. so many people go out and they do the weekend warrior thing and they do some crazy amount of exercise, and then they get hurt and they feel terrible, and then in their minds, exercise is terrible because that's what it feels like to them. And so I always tell people, I don't care if you exercise for 5 minutes. If that's where we're at today, that's where we're at today. And then we'll bump it up 10% per week until we get there. My exercise DVD is progressive. So it's a 12-week program. The first week is 10 minutes. Because not everybody who can go out there and buy a DVD and do a 60-minute program. If you haven't worked out in 10 years, that may not be your starting place. So that's what I focus on with people.
I think that's great, too. It's a very good point. A lot of people think that because you're thin, you're in good shape. And I have a great story about that. A young woman that I interviewed was on my show, 31 years old, model thin, so to speak. I don't know. Maybe she was about a size 2 or size 3. 2 children, appeared to be in very good health. Well, she ended up having a stroke. And the reason why was because she had high blood pressure and didn't know it, because she hadn't gotten her vitals checked, because she looked healthy, felt healthy, and at that young age, early 30s, didn't think, that she needed to have regular checkups and stuff, like so many of us have a tendency to think when we're younger that way. And she had a stroke. So you never know. And stroke and high blood pressure can be a silent killer. The symptoms are very silent until you actually do stroke, and then you say, okay, what's wrong? But that's a good example of someone who looked healthy. Her size was low. You would not think that she would have anything having to do with high blood pressure or any of that at all. And it was hereditary. It was something that's in her DNA. No eating style, anything else could change it. She changed her eating habits, but she also had to get on medication. But so you can't always go by how you're looking as to whether or not you're in shape. And you're absolutely right. If someone hasn't worked out for a long time, I don't care how thin they are. If they go out there and do a PX90, they're going to be in the emergency in no time flat. If that's not for you.
Right.
Absolutely.
I think it depends, too. I mean, if you're 18 years old and you haven't worked out in 10 years, but you have a high natural level of athletic ability, you may be able to do that class and rock it out. And, another 18-year-old person may really not. Bodies are all different. And it's so important to understand that you cannot tell if a person is healthy by looking at them. Because what our current obsession with weight means is that many thin people like your friend are underdiagnosed, and doctors don't run tests because they look healthy. And many heavy people are overdiagnosed, and they're prescribed unnecessary tests, and they're prescribed a lot more medication just because, based on our current prejudices, they look unhealthy. And it really hurts people on both sides of the spectrum. You really don't know if a person is healthy until you run some tests and look at their numbers, and that's how you know. So
that's how
it's really
you know.
Important, to go to the doctor regularly.
You're absolutely right. In fact, you have a PDF on your website that talks about the 5 things that you need to know before you work out. What are those 5 things that you need to know?
Oh, boy. Let me see if I've got them all memorized.
Well, at least 2 or 3 of them.
I'll give you a couple. Well, you do need to go to the doctor, and you do need to get checked out. You need to be cleared for takeoff. Because you don't know if you've got something going on that can really impact your exercise unless you've been seen, especially if you haven't been seen for years. You really should go in and get checked out. You need to know what your current fitness level is. And one of the exercises that I do with people is called rock the block or rock the circuit. And it just means that you put something close to the front steps of your house, and you go for a very short little walk. And a lot of people start by walking around the block and seeing how they feel after they walk a block. Do they feel like doing 10 more blocks? Fine. Go around the block 10 times until you start feeling tired. Some people really, when they start, they can't do a whole block, and that's totally okay. Maybe you're going to do driveway loops to see where your physical condition is at. But the important thing when you're doing this testing to find out your fitness level is to do a circle that's very close to home, because you don't want to get 2.5 miles away with no cell phone and no car and then decide you're done. So
right.
You're going to have a rough situation, right?
That's pretty rough, yeah.
Yeah, that's important to know where you're at. It's important to know that you really only want to increase your fitness level by 10% per week. So if you do 100 minutes this week, it doesn't mean you do 200 minutes next week. It means you do maybe 110 minutes next week for your total. You really don't want to. A lot of people, they do this like exponential increase. Well, I'll do twice as much next week and twice as much the week after that, and bodies just don't get fit that quickly. Slow and steady wins the race here, because you really, like, the most important thing when you exercise is that you wake up able to do it again the next day. You don't want to get hurt or injured, because that'll just put a stop to it. And you really want to make sure that you have rest days with your exercise. You really also need to keep in touch with your body. There's nobody that knows what is happening inside your body better than you do. And if you start feeling some things that are what I call dashboard indicators, or warning lights, like dizziness or nausea or disorientation or different kinds of heart palpitations or different things, I mean, you can get a sense pretty quickly when something in your body isn't right. And, when that dashboard indicator light goes on, you need to pull that car over to the side of the road and figure out what's happening. So it's really important.
Listen to your body. Listen to what the body's telling you.
Yeah, but every body is different, and your fitness experience will be different than somebody else's, which can be frustrating because it would be easier if we were all the same, but it's also magnificent, right, and wonderful that we're not all the same. So
I was going to say, therein lies the glory of being a human being, is that there is no other person on this planet that is exactly like you. We've all been created differently. We have some commonalities, and we have some things in common, but the thing we probably have most in common is that we are so different. When it comes to taking a look at all the different people that you've worked with, and especially those people that are the larger size, what are some of the most common complaints you hear when people first start the idea of wanting to get fit? What are some of the things that you hear that would be common?
Well, there's some joint aches and pains that happen for most beginning fitness people, regardless of size. So it's common to have a little, your knees might be talking to you a little bit the next day, and your shoulders might be talking to you a little bit. And that's normal. I mean, as you exercise, you'll learn the difference between talking and screaming, right? So if your shoulders are talking, then you can have a conversation with your shoulders and say, okay, I know that this is tough, and you can take a NSAID and you can go on the next day. If your shoulders are screaming, and you'll know when that's happening, then you need to dial it back and take it easy. I think a common thing is that people express frustration sometimes because they feel like they've been brainwashed to believe they should be able to do what everybody else does, or what their 16-year-old kid does right out of the gate. And so I have that conversation with them a lot. I mean, I have a student in my class that he's 84, and he goes and he golfs 9 holes, and then he comes and he rides his bike and he takes my class for an hour, and he rides his bike home. And some days he does an hour, and some days he does 5 or 10 minutes. It just depends on where his body is that day, and he's learned to understand that. But a lot of people go ahead.
That's a very good point. When you're in the process of deciding that you want to get fit, whether you were fit before or have never been fit, or whatever your status is, you have to learn, if you don't know this already, to be kind to yourself. Give yourself a break. not every day is going to be the same. There are going to be some days you're going to do your fitness regime, and you might do it for 2 or 3 days, and something happens, and you don't do it, or you don't feel like doing it. You know, that stuff happens. But you got to give yourself a break. You can't be so hard on yourself.
I think that's really true. And I work with a lot of students, especially in my online streaming program. I work with a lot of students that have physical challenges. Maybe I have students with COPD, which is like asthma and breathing difficulties. I have students with fibromyalgia. I have students with rheumatoid arthritis. And it doesn't matter how fit you are. If you're coping with one of those situations, you're going to have good days and you're going to have bad days. And maybe you're going to trend up. Like if you look at those graphs of the stock market, you know, it trends up, but it's not a straight line. It goes up and down and it wiggles. And that's what getting fit looks like. It's not a perfectly smooth straight line. It goes up and down. And you have days where you feel invincible, and you have days where you feel like getting out of bed is like, you know, an Olympic event. So that's normal. That's totally normal. So you just have
to. And I think it's good for people to know that. Yeah. It's good for people to know that perfection is not expected when you're doing an exercise program. I mean, let's face it, we're all humans. Perfection is not or should not be expected anyway, because that's not how we're made up. We are not perfect. And there's always going to be room for error and to be gracious with yourself, because sometimes we can be our own worst critics. We can be so tough on ourselves. And I believe in celebrating the successes, no matter how small they are. You know, you celebrate the successes, and you give yourself credit for those things, and you hold on to those things, because those successes are what propel you on to the next success, rather than saying, okay, I did that now, you know, but I have so many other things I have to do, you know. Being a little bit more kinder to ourselves, and or more kind to ourselves, and giving ourselves credit for even thinking about achieving fitness and getting to where you want your body to be. You know, for people who want to participate in your program, how do they do that? Where do they go? Give us your URL and all the other information so they can contact you.
Well, there's a lot of different things they can do. The best sort of holding place for everything is my website, which is www.thefatchick.com. Now, it's not just any fat chick, it's thefatchick.com. And they can go there, and they can buy my book, and the book is called The Fat Chick Works Out, or my DVD, which is also called The Fat Chick Works Out. I have live streamed classes on Thursdays and Saturdays at 8:30 a.m. Pacific time, and those are totally free, and you don't have to download anything. You just click on the link, and you can work out with me in my class, and you can even dial in and talk to us and tell us how you're doing, and that's super fun.
That's fantastic.
I offer that. That's part of my tithe that I offer, is that anybody can work out with me twice a week for free. And then if they want more individual training, I offer online training programs and weekly teleconferences and a number of different things like that. So
if you want to find out more about all of Jeanette's classes, her DVD, her books, and take a look at her media, her articles, her blog, the success stories, all of that kind of information, you can go to www.thefatchick.com. And make sure you say thefatchick.com. And there you'll be able to purchase her DVD, purchase her book, and, wow, live stream classes. I want to join you on those. Now, when's the live stream class again? Tell us again when that is.
All you have to do is, if you go to my homepage, there's a thing that says, right near the top, it says live streaming, and you just click on that button. And you can watch it on your computer, on your iPhone, on your iPad, or any kind of flash or iDevice. So
that's fantastic. I see it right here. You can click there, and it says live stream, and I see where your last class was. I see you right there. That's fantastic. So, folks, go to her site and go ahead and check out her style of fitness and working out, and have fun and get in shape, and hopefully go and buy the book and the DVD and have all the benefits that Jeanette has to offer. Jeanette, thank you so much for being on the show. I learned so much from you.
Oh, it's really been my pleasure. I've had a great time.
Great, thanks. Again, that's Jeanette, and the name of her company, The Fat Chick. That's the name of her URL. It's www.thefatchick.com, and there you can purchase her book, The Fat Chick Works Out, and her DVD also, which is great, and there's all kinds of information there. We have just been blessed. A great way to take a look at your body image and to accept where you are and maybe where you want to be. Not everybody has to be the same. And I am so glad that we've had this point of view on the show. Wow, I can't believe that the show, we're almost coming to the end. There's a couple of things that I wanted to share with you before we went, and that has to do with your journey and where you are. I always like to hear from you. Let me know what's going on with you and where you are in your particular journey for wellness. For your mind, body, and spirit, and share with us the kinds of things that you would like to hear on our program. Send me an email at thewellnessjourney@yahoo.com. That's thewellnessjourney@yahoo.com. Let me know how you're doing. Let me know what kinds of shows you would like to be involved in. And let me remind you also that we are on Women for Women on Tuesdays at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, live, the Wellness Journey Live. So you can actually listen to the broadcast, call in, ask questions. We want to hear from you. So I hope to hear you on that broadcast also. And don't forget to come and visit us on Facebook, and also go to our website. You can get to our Facebook through our website. Our website is www.praiseworks.biz. That's one word, praiseworks.biz. Thanks so much for joining our broadcast today. I've enjoyed having you. I've enjoyed talking with Jeanette, and we'll be looking forward to seeing you again next time. This is Linus of Praiseworks, and we'll see you on the next Wellness Journey.
Thank you for joining us on the Wellness Journey. We hope that you have enjoyed our show and look forward to the opportunity to share with you again information that will help you along your journey to total wellness for your mind, body, and spirit.